Hello and welcome back to Dawn Chorus Writes, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction and audiofiction. This one is called The Dearest and it is written by Jheqia and narrated by Dawn myself. Hello! And it's part of Jheqia's Wednesday and also part of With Love February season. So I hope you enjoy it. This is part 1 and part 2 will be next week. Massive shout out to Jade Carol for her stunning, beautiful artwork in the thumbnail. I've used one of her pictures before and I've also got some commissions on the way. So she's an amazing artist. So make sure you go and give her loads of love. Make sure you give loads of love to Jheqia. All her information and links are down below. Make sure you give me loads of love by smashing that like button. Comment down below what you think of it and what will happen in part 2 next week, and make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on part 2 and other videos that are happening. Okay, enjoy. Dearest You, part 1. The February wind battered at Adrien as he made his way up the stairs, sending a trickle of sleet down the back of his neck and making him shiver. "Hey, dude," Nino said, holding out his fist for a bump without his normal enthusiasm. "Hey," he replied, bumping fists. "Do you think the girls might mind if we just go inside? It's too cold and wet out here to hang around and I can't afford to get sick." "Sure thing, dude." Nino, who had a longer walk to school and was noticeably shivering, blew on his gloves in a vain attempt to warm his fingers. The wintry weather was dampening more than just the streets. It was dampening spirits as well. That is, except for the half-dozen girls who waved at him and giggled as they made their way to the locker room. "Ugh," he groaned. "Valentine's Day is coming up and all the fangirls are going to come out of the woodwork again." "Price of being Mr. Hottest Teen of the Year," Nino muttered. "But you don't see me having that kind of trouble." "Yeah, 'cause you've got Alia, and no one messes with her. I mean, your girlfriend is great and all, man, but she can be scary." "Don't I know it?" His friend sighed with a goofy grin on his face. The blast of heat when they stepped into the locker room was sudden and uncomfortable after the chill of the courtyard. As Adrien opened his locker, a pink envelope fell out. He sighed. He should probably open it, but it was kind of uncomfortable to read the fan letter, Valentines, that most girls sent him. Just once, he wished that someone wanted to be with him. Adrien, the goof, who liked puns, video games, and was kind of socially awkward, not Adrien Agress, model and recent named Hottest Teen of the Year by some teenage magazine or other. Wanted to get it over with, he ripped it open and pulled out a small pink card. The words caught his attention at once. "Dearest You, every time I see you, it is the sweetest part of my day. Days without you are dark and bitter. I know you would be the first one to say you aren't perfect, but my day becomes perfect just by being near you. You are the moon and the stars that brighten my darkest nights. How I wish I could light your dark hours the way you have done for me, but my light is probably too dim and far away to warm you. But maybe, on some distant shore of thought, my love shall wash up at your feet and make you smile. That is my dearest wish. The one who loves you." Adrien stood there, staring at the tiny handwriting on the small pink card, his cheeks burning. He knew he had many secret admirers. He got stacks full of mail from them every month, but this was different. The girl who wrote this went to his school. She wrote as if she knew him. She hinted she knew his life wasn't as warm and easy as most assumed it was. She didn't even sign her name. "What's that? An early Valentine's card?" Nino asked. Adrien jerked. probably the image of a scolded cat, and crammed the card into his pocket before slamming his locker shut. Yeah, no big deal. Nino leaned against the bank of lockers with arms crossed, staring at him with ironic eyes. No big deal, eh? Yeah. Adrien rubbed the back of his neck nervously. Gotta get to class now, right? He took 3 steps towards the door when he heard Nino laugh. Dude, if it's no big deal, then why are you trying to go to class without your books? He was sure his entire face was red as he retreated to his locker to get his books, the love letter burning a hole in his pocket. He spent all day trying to figure out who could have sent him the love letter. Half the girls in his class were oblivious. No, being otherwise in relationships, uninterested, or Rose having that pen pal thing going with Prince Ali. That left him with Alex, Chloe, Lila, and Marinette. Alex is more interested in sports and skating than guys, unless it's Kim, and she never shown any particular interest in me. Adrien thought, tapping his pencil on his desk in agitation. Chloe couldn't be bothered to come up with writing her own homework, let alone romantic prose, and Sabrina isn't creative enough to do it for her. And Lila? The thought made him shudder. A long-fingered hand slammed down on the desk under his nose, bringing him abruptly to attention as a wave of titters swept around the room. Mr. Egress, glad to see you back with us, Mr. Mendeleev snapped at him. Since you've had such a pleasant break, why don't you demonstrate the formula on the board? He flushed in embarrassment, hurrying to comply with a cranky teacher, rather than let his lapse in concentration get back to his father. He caught Marinette's eyes as he returned to his seat, and she gave him a shy smile and apologetic shrug. He couldn't help but smile back. Marinette. He would much rather have the love letter come from her than Lila, but she was one of his best friends. If she had really been interested in him, she would have said something, right? They had been friends for 2 years now, and he had thought for a while that she had a crush on him, especially after that reality show broadcast her pictures of him all over her room. But she had said they were just fashion references, that she was a fan. He sighed, trying not to think of the girl sitting behind him. Even if she was smart, pretty, talented, kind, thoughtful, oh boy. If he was being honest with himself, he kind of liked the idea of Marinette having a crush on him. When she had confessed that she was in love with him, well, cat noir him, he had felt horribly guilty because he knew he couldn't return her feelings. But her words had filled him with nervous, excited energy regardless. Besides, she's my friend, and she loves someone else now, he thought, a sad ache settling in his stomach. She practiced that confession with me and everything, and that was a while ago. Surely she confessed to him by now. No, it couldn't be Marinette. It must be another girl in a different class. The second pink card showed up the next day after lunch. Dearest you. I dreamed of you last night. We were walking through the park at sunset, hand in hand, when you looked at me and smiled. It felt like the whole world faded away and my heart was flying with you. Maybe someday we will do this for real, but for now, it is my favorite dream. I wish I could ask you about yours. The one who loves you. Still no name or clue as to who sent it, Adrien thought. He hated those loose ends, and these 2 letters were not enough to go on to find the writer. Dude, another one? Nino asked, eyeing the pink card. Some girls got it bad for you, bro. To send you 2 Valentines 2 weeks beforehand? Yeah, But she doesn't sign them, he sighed. And they're not the normal fangirls gushing either. These are... Yes? His best friend wriggled his eyebrows at him behind his glasses. Adrien blushed. How could some silly card get to him like this? Sweet, he muttered quickly. Sweet, that's all. It wasn't like he was giving up on Ladybug or anything, right? He was just curious. That was it. Curiosity may have killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. I just want to know who sent them, Nino, that's all. He rolled his eyes. Whatever, dude. Clearly he wasn't buying the excuse, and Adrien couldn't blame him. He had a photo shoot the next day and missed school, leaving him to scramble through the makeup work the teachers had assigned in the brief breaks between shoots. He couldn't help but wonder if his secret admirer had left him a letter only for him to not find it. Those 2 pink cards hovered at the edges of his thoughts all evening, leading Plag to tease him by grabbing them and flapping them around his room like they were oversized wings. It had threatened to dump all the camembert out the window before the little menace would give them back. But even that distraction couldn't keep his mind from wondering who could have sent the cards to him. The next morning, the 3rd card was lying at the bottom of his locker. Dearest you, I missed you yesterday. Your seat was empty, and I felt the lack of your warmth in the room. I wonder what your photo shoot was like. Did you have fun? Did someone make you laugh? Did they have your favorite food at lunch? When you got home, did you go straight to piano practice, or did you sit and watch a movie? I wish I knew you better, so I could take you to your favorite places, tell you the funniest jokes, anything just to keep the smile on your face forever. But I am just a handmaiden in the background. What right have I to wish to see my prince happy, or for me to bring him joy? Still, it is the deepest wish of my heart, the one who loves you. The sight of the card had buoyed him up feather-light, but here he was, back to thinking about Marinette. Could it be her after all? He wondered, or really hoped. After all, I call her Princess. Could I be her prince? Her Buttercup? She had said that Buttercup was a code name for the boy she loved, that she had misjudged him when they first met, but that she got to know him better, and she saw he was kind, sincere, and generous. Well, the misjudged part fits if you take the chewing gum incident into account, and she probably knows me as well as Nino. But could she have switched from loving Cat Noir to loving Adrien, not knowing we are the same? Wouldn't I have noticed if she had acted different around me? He spent the day hyper-aware of every pencil squeak and rustled of fabric from the girl behind him, and every sigh tickled his neck and made him blush. Dude, what's wrong? Nino asked as they grabbed the lunch in the cafeteria, thankful that Marinette and Alia had gone to the bakery for the break. You've been twitching all morning. No, I just can't figure out who keeps leaving these letters for me. It's starting to drive me crazy. Why, are they all stalkery again? Do we need to tell the old owl? Nino was concerned, and after the last time some crazed fangirl had tried to get to him, he couldn't blame him. No, not to mention made it really hard to sneak away to fight Akumas. No, nothing like that. Kind of the opposite, really. Adrien, you're my bro. You can share or not, but I don't know what you're talking about, and then I'm not sure what I can do, dude. He sighed. You're probably right. Here. He reached into his messenger bag and pulled out the 3 envelopes. "Just keep it down, okay?" "Sure, dude, sure." His friend took the cards out and read all 3, eyes growing gradually, growing wider and softer. Then he handed them back and gave him a serious look. "Those are beautiful and sad." "I know." He hid them back into his bag once more and winced when he heard Plag snickering from under the flap, hoping Nino wouldn't hear him. "I just don't know what to do about it. Any ideas?" "Any suspects?" "Well, she mentioned my photo shoot and that my seat was empty, so she's in our class. Most of the girls have shown no particular interest in me or already dating someone, so that leaves 4. "All right, which 4? "Chloe?" Nino snorted. "Queen Banana doesn't have a sensitive bone in her body. Plus, she's too lazy to come up with that herself and would have done it in the open. Next." "Sabrina." They both chuckled over that. Sabrina would have been nice enough if she had better friends in her life, but she was so dedicated to Chloe that she wouldn't see how poorly she was being treated, or how she treated others as a result. "No dice. Who else?" "Lila." He knew that he and Marinette were the only ones in the class to see past Lila's mask of lies, but the very thought of her trying to cozy up to him again made him feel sick and clammy. His friend considered this. "I kinda doubt that, bro. I mean, clearly she has a thing for you, but a girl with those kind of connections playing secret admirer doesn't make sense." Adrien sighed in relief. "That only leaves Marinette." He had expected some kind of reaction from Nino. Laughter, surprise, or quick denial, perhaps. After all, they were both friends with Marinette and knew her probably as well as Alia did. He had even tried to help Nino tell her he had a crush on her a while back, but there had been a disaster. Was he still upset about that? He seemed perfectly happy with Alia, but did it hurt him to think of the girl he used to liking Adrien now? Instead, his friend just stared at him levelly. "What do you think about that?" Adrien blinked and then blushed and rubbed his neck. Well, it would be okay, I guess, if it really is her." "Then why don't you ask her?" He felt the tide of anxiety rise in his chest. "But what if I'm wrong? Sometimes I get the feeling I make her nervous as it is, and she is just such a cool person and a great friend. What if I mess things up somehow and she hates me again?" Nino put his hand on his shoulder comfortingly. "Chill, my dude. Marinette isn't like that. She still manages to be nice to Chloe most of the time, and they have been at it for years. The girl couldn't hate you even if she wanted to. Besides, she and Luca broke up and they're still good friends, right?" "Yeah," he replied, running a hand through his hair distractedly. Marinette had even forgiven Cat Noir when he had rejected her, and said she wanted to be friends. She had a heart big enough to hold everyone, even those that hurt her. She was so strong and bold, but shy and sweet, creative and funny and clumsy and pretty. She was a glorious mess of contradictions wrapped in pink and grey and... oh, cheese and crackers. Plag had been right. He had been chasing Marinette. He felt the blush wash up his cheeks to burn his ears and cheeks, and he covered his mouth with a hand. "It finally clicked, didn't it, dude?" It wasn't a question, and when Adrien met his friend's eyes, they were kind, and his smile was wary and crooked. "Nino?" he whispered, not trusting his voice. I'm in love with Marinette. Thank you for listening to part 1 of Dearest You. I hope you loved it, and make sure you go and give Jheqia some love for writing it. Make sure you give me some love by smashing that like button. Comment down below what you think of it. Part 2 will be coming out next week, so make sure you're in tune for that, because you want to know what happens next. It's so good. And I hope you're good. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.